sees. You got me sprung and I don't care who sees. You got me sprung and I don't care.
Hey guys, I'm actually not even home today. I'm at my godparents' house and I'm really lucky to be doing this video because the big ideas that have been on my mind is the trending topic currently. If you're on like my side, any black woman on TikTok, you've probably seen a video regarding Shits and Gigs, Fuhad and James, and the other thing that's trending on my side of TikTok, on TickTock, is ChatGPT's RL model, right? And you're like, what? Huh? What does Fuhad and James have to do with ChatGPT? And I think the thing that I'm going to talk about is not what you think. So, Fuhad and James, if you haven't seen already, they're getting really talked about regarding their statements or lack of statements in defense of black women on Andrew Schultz's podcast, or their collab, whatever. And then it's built up its other podcasts that they've done and how bad they've been, and it's just like a conglomerate of things. At the same time, ChatGPT's new model has been released. A lot of people are trying it out, and you're like, girl, get to the point. The point is, there's an interesting thing that's happening in the glimpse of community, tech, friendship, and audience, right? What does the future of your community look like? And this is why these things are interconnected. It's the idea of community. I'm thinking about Fuhad and James and their apology video and how it was like, we're apologizing to our community or our fans. And it becomes a very interesting thing when we get to a point where it's hard to differentiate between the people that are a part of our community and the people that are our fans and friendship. With ChatGPT's new model, right, it works with RL, which is basically like their old model was based on predicting sentences that flowed well together. Essentially, I want to say it in a better way because I have notes here. It basically predicted what words came next based on context of a bunch of data that was implemented, or if it was connected to the internet, stuff like that, right? Based on the database that was provided. Now it's doing reinforcement learning, and we see that a lot in like your For You pages, your recommended pages, your recommended playlists, and things like that. There's actually a TikToker who I'll reference below, and she has a lot of great information about this new ChatGPT model. And what does this mean for how AI will influence our communities and friendships later? Well, we think about these playlists and we're like, the reason why a lot of us stay with Spotify rather than going to like Apple Music or YouTube Music, it's because we're like, yo, it's like they know me, right? It's like they learn what I really like and they can predict what I really like before me even acknowledging or seeing what I really like. And I think about how that will be utilized in the future of what friendship could look like. And I'm not talking about those friendly dogs that we would have as kids who would be like your new friend and you can record voices in it. I'm talking about the internet providing spaces where you can put a lot of information based on your life inside a program and build a community. And not just in the sense of like a single quote unquote robot or system that knows you for who you are, or understands the little things that you like. I'm saying a whole community of people who are based off the constant reinforcement, based off putting an algorithm in the system and telling it, solve this problem, right? So now how ChatGPT works is that you give it a question, it analyzes the best answer, right? And usually it just spits that out. But now it'll basically reanalyze its answer through the system and ask itself, is that really solving the question that you're asking? So it's kind of like thinking. It's kind of like critical thinking, which gets kind of scary. And the idea is, if it can critically think, Can it now establish itself as a type of being that can be utilized for people who are not able to communicate effectively? Or can communicate effectively but aren't able to just build friendships? If it can think, can it be utilized to help create connections? Like, if I want a community that understands me so purely, how hard is it to place ideas about me and things that I like and everything that I know, and tell it to consistently solve certain pain points of mine, and have a system build out that community? One that's just there for care, one that understands my music style, one that, really can recommend really good hairstyles for me. How this ties into James and Fuhad is that currently they're having some dissonance with understanding whether or not their fans are also a part of the community. And in the future, I wonder how hard that's going to be, or if it will be even harder, as the lines of fans, human fans, and people who are referred to these people start to blur. And even the question of friendship and what that starts to look like as we move forward with like AI friendships, or even smaller niche communities, rather than these big glamorized podcast communities, when we have smaller targeted communities. Sorry if you hear anyone sighing, that's the dog. So in this current space that we're exploring right now, I see conversations that are coming up really talking about, we're the community that built you, we're the community that supported you when it comes to Shifting Gigs podcast. At the same time, I'm seeing conversations about reinforcement, and I'm like, these things are completely tied together. The grand issue that we're experiencing as people, I'm going to say as people, but I really mean as Americans, right? Because I have a very, I feel like, streamlined perspective because I'm an American that lives in America, is the lack of community, right? And the reason why we latch on to these podcasters is because we're able to create a sense of reality, as if, we know them. The whole idea of parasocial relationship is tied into this. The reason we're able to put them on this pedestal is because we've created ideas, we finished a picture of who they are, right? By these given snippets that they've given us. And some can argue that's what we do in all friendships. But particularly for those that we've never met, that sit on the screen, that talk about themselves as friends or part of the community, right? And it's an interesting place to be, because I think it says a lot about what the future of podcasting will look like, what the future of communities will look like, and what the future of friendships will look like, and who we're able to build these friendships with. Because the reverse could happen, that we can create an algorithm that creates podcasters who talk about things that are tied exactly to what we want, exactly what we want to hear, with the idea of reinforcement, consistently feeding it information. So now that we're at this place, what is next? Right? I think we don't even realize what's on the horizon for friendship. I think friendship is the baseline of community. And then there's the overall community, right? With some relationships that are just relationship because we live amongst each other. And then on top of that, right, is these bigger people that we call fans, fan groups and stuff like that. And I think that once we place AI somewhere in that equation, we begin to kind of have a synthetic form of that pyramid, right? Where some of these things are specifically catered. And the question lies that if the friendship is an AI friendship, is it still friendship without two human factors? That's the question that I need you to answer, because I'm not sure I know, quite frankly. Also on the questions of like podcasters and things like that, I think about some of my favorite podcasts, like, or TikTok channels, like It's Just Jordan, and how a lot of what I like about her is the ease of her life and in what she showcases, right? Obviously I don't know what she's going through, but the ease of like making dinner, going out antiquing, going out vintage shopping, you know, spending time with family, and even the idea of the parasocial relationships that we've built there, right? And like how she's able to navigate that. And a lot of that is based on the little things that I know that I want and I like, and I've kind of projected onto her, and how she's kind of created an ease to them, which is why I'm able to say, you know what, she's one of my favorite YouTubers. And I think that in the future, there's something there that will be done towards being able to talk to a community, but even more so, being able to manipulate a community, given that we have algorithms that can learn them. So, down in the comments, let me know, how do you feel? Because this kind of technology has been around for a long time, but how do you feel about AI friendships? How do you feel about the future looking like us maybe not having real podcasters, but having people that we are linked to that are online friends, these personalities that might be created specifically to target a particular type of group? And how do you think about the dissonance that occurs even today with podcasters when they find it hard to break down the idea of friends, fans, and community? Let me know down below. Also, like, comment, and subscribe.